Hello guys, today I'm gonna show you how you can create a Zend Framework 2 web application in simple steps and very fast. What a standard web application usually needs is a way to identify users that log in and a way to authorize them. That means to give them access to different controllers and actions. Okay, so let's get going. The first thing we need to do is to install the Zend Framework 2 skeleton application. We can easily do that. Just Google Zend Framework 2 skeleton application and go to the GitHub repository. I'm gonna download it as a zip because I find it the fastest way to install it. I have already downloaded it. So now I'm going to unrar this. It doesn't matter in which folder you unzip the file. I prefer to keep it in my www folder in my WAMP server. So let's rename this to something meaningful. Tutorial application. Now, how do we run this? The first thing we need to do is to set up a virtual host. That is actually very well explained in the Zend Framework 2 tutorial, so I'm not gonna focus on that. I'm just going to Apache and in the conf folder I make sure that in httpd config file actually this line here is uncommented, so that we enable the extra vhost configuration file. Now we go to the actual vhost configuration file, edit with notepad, and we should create a virtual host. And just copy one of my above virtual hosts and just change it to tutorial.localhost. I'm gonna set the path to this. And I'm gonna save it. Now what I need to do is to restart my WAMP server. And another thing is that you may need to do is to go to your Windows System 32 drivers, etc. And here is the host file. Now here you can see that I have opened to edit the file. What we need to do is add this line here, so that by typing tutorial.localhost in the web browser address bar, we can actually access our web applications and Framework 2 web applications. So okay, I'm not gonna save it for now because I have done this before. So now what I'm going to do is just open a new tab and type in tutorial.localhost and see what comes up. Fatal error, uncaught exception, runtime exception with message unable to load Zend Framework 2, run php composer.far install. Now what we need to do is we need to open a console. It may be done from the command prompt or from the git bash. It doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna quickly navigate to the folder tutorial application, and here I'm gonna run php composer.far self-update, and then I'm going to run composer.far install to make sure that all the dependencies are installed. That means that Zend Framework 2 is installed for our web application. Okay, now that we're done, we can check again to make sure everything works. And tada! Welcome to Zend Framework 2 skeleton application. Has some sort of a new look. Okay, now what do we need to do? We need a way to register a user and to actually log in with him in our web application. So what are we going to do? Okay, now we are going to go to the GitHub profile of coolcsn. That's actually there, and let's take a look at the modules we have here. Not all of them are finished, most of them are in development, but it should give you a quick look on them. So we have CSN user, we have CSN CMS, CSN authorization, and so on and so on. But we are going to install the most important one. So as always, we're going to start with CSN user, which is actually a module for authentication that depends on Doctrine. Actually, all the coolcsn modules depend on Doctrine, so this is the policy that we are following. Okay, how do I install CSN user? Okay, I'm going down and read the instructions. The installation is supported via Composer, so I need to run this line here. And how am I going to make this? Okay, I'm going to my git bash again. It can be a command prompt, so that to make sure, but it works with git bash also. So I'm going to paste this. How are we pasting in git bash? We can use shift or shift plus insert, or we can go to edit and paste. So I'm just going to run this and see what happens. As you can see, everything is ready, and we should proceed to the next step. We should add CSN user Doctrine module and Doctrine ORM module in our application configuration at config application config.php. Okay, let's find where that is. I'm going to where I actually unzipped the tutorial application, and here we go into config application config.php. Now, what do we do here? We see that we have a module application which comes with the skeleton application. What are we going to add now is another module, which is let me just copy it from the instructions. Okay, now this step should be ready, and we move to the configuration of the module. As you know, CSN user depends on Doctrine, so to make sure Doctrine is set up, first we need to create a new database. Now, how am I going to do this? I will go to phpMyAdmin application, which comes installed with WAMP server, and I'm going to create a new database. Okay, I'm gonna call it tutorial database, tutorial DB. I'm gonna choose a UTF-8 general CI collation and create the database. Okay, database tutorial DB has been created. Great, I'm really happy. What shall I do next? Copy the sample Doctrine configuration from to and so on. Okay, let's do that. I need to go to vendor and coolcsn CSN user, and here we have a sample configuration file, doctrineorm.local.php.dist. Okay, I'm gonna copy it and I'm gonna return to autoload and place it here. Okay, now what I need to do is remove this part. Okay, that's great, and edit the file with current database parameters. Okay, what I need to change here is actually the user. I'm going to be using root and the password, so I'm not having a password for this tutorial so that we keep it simple. And the database name, of course, is tutorial.db. Okay, let's save this. Great. Now let's move on to the next step. We go back to the readme and check to see what's next. Okay, run the Doctrine module 2 to generate the database schema. Import the sample SQL data. Okay, that's easy. I can do that. I can actually go to vendor bin and can actually copy that. Let's see what happens. Doctrine warns me that we should not do this in a production environment, but that's not the case here. Database schema created successfully. Okay, great. I'm happy. What's next? We now have to import the sample SQL data. Let's go to our PHP admin and go to our tutorial.db, and here is the import button up here. We click on the browse button and we navigate to the vendor folder, coolcsn, CSN user, and data. Here we have the sample data.sql. Okay, let's import that and look what got imported. We can actually go to the tutorial.db and see that we actually have 6 records in the language table, which are actually some default languages we have here. You can also add additional ones, and we have 3 records in the role table, which are a guest, a member, and admin role. You can also change these ones, so you can add another role, or you can change those ones. It depends completely on you. So now let's get back to the configuration. Next, we need to set up our mail configuration so that we can receive mails when we register, for example. Now what we need to do is we go to vendor again, coolcsn, CSN user, config, and here we have a mail example, and of course we have a Gmail mail config example. If you want to test with Gmail SMTP connection, that's what I'm going to use. So I will copy this and paste it in the auto load. Now I just need to remove this part, but I'm also going to remove the Gmail example part and save this. Now as you can see here, I need to enter my credentials for Gmail to be able to use their SMTP server, but that's not what you're going to use. You're going to use this only for testing purposes, and in a real environment you are going to host your own mail server. So I'm gonna change these ones and get back to you. Let's see if there's anything else we need to do. There are some options we can configure, so I will make use of that and go to the vendor directory again, coolcsn, CSN user, config, and copy the CSN user global.php.dist file. Here we have the options. I'm going to paste it in the auto load and remove this part. Let's see what the options are. I can actually change the static salt, and I should do so. So I'm going to just type in some random stuff here. Change the static salt, and what else can I change? For now, I don't want to change anything else. I can change the redirect routes, but I will go with the default ones, and that's it. It is ready. Navigate to hostname user in your browser to view different options for login, registration, forgotten password, etc. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I just need to type /user and welcome guest. Okay, I'm a guest here, so it's working. Now let's see. I don't want to be a guest anymore. I want to register. Is there a way to register or sign up? I'm going to type in a username. My username is going to be a tutorial user. The display name will be first name and last name. The email I'm going to use, let's say, some sort of a 10-minute mail. Okay, let's take that. Let's take that 10-minute mail. The password is going to be, let's say, password. Let's sign up. And it says that an email has been sent. Please check your inbox and confirm your registration. So here I'm gonna have to receive an email. You should usually wait a couple of minutes until your email is received. Those 10-minute mails are actually pretty slow. So here we have our email. Please click the link to confirm your registration. I'm clicking the link and thank you, your registration has been confirmed. Now I'm very happy. If my registration has been confirmed, that means that I can log in now with my credentials. So tutorial user and passwords, and I may choose to remember me, but for now I'm not going to choose this option. Welcome tutorial user. Congratulations, you have successfully logged in. Okay, I can edit my profile, I can change my password, or I can change my email, or I can change my display name from first name last name to whatever I want and save the changes. I'm not going to use that now. Okay, so CSN user apparently works. Now what else do we need in our application? We need a way to authorize access to different users. Now that we have different users, I want to give them access and control their access to different controllers, actions, and so on and so on. So what can I do? Here's the CSN user. I have some recommendations here. CSN authorization, an authorization compatible for this registration and logging. Okay, perfect. Let's go here. And how do we install it? First, I need to set minimum stability def in my composer.json file. So let's just go tutorial application, composer.json, edit, and paste this line here. Make sure you add a comma. Save, exit, and now I have to run php composer.file require command. I go back to my tutorial application and paste this with shift and insert here. Let's run this. Okay, it's ready. What else should I need to do? Configure reference module CSN user following its instructions. Okay, I have already done that. Add CSN authorization to your application configuration. Okay, I can do that. That's easy. I put it here in the bottom. Save it, close it. Next, requires setting a connection for Doctrine. Oh, I have already done that, so I skip this step. And after that, set up your access control list configuration by again copying a distribution file. So now I need to go again in vendor coolcsn. Now You can see here that we now have two folders, CSN user and CSN authorization for our two modules. We go in CSN authorization, config, and from here I get my ACL configuration. This is the access control list configuration. So I just copy it, not cut it. I copy it, paste it in autoload, and remove this extension. Okay, and let's take a look at this file. What do we have here? Well, we actually have some sample access control list. Here we define different controllers and actions, and we actually say this controller here and this action, who can access it. So for example, the registration is the change password action is accessible only to members, and remember again that those roles are actually the sample roles we imported into the database, but you can always change those, so you can have different roles here. So okay, I think we are done here. Let's see how to check if it works. Does it work? Navigate to a controller action which has been allowed only for members in your ACL configuration, and you should be redirected. So that means that if I actually try to access let's say edit profile action, if I'm not logged in, I should be redirected. So let's check that. Okay, let's go to our Zend Framework skeleton application, and I'm logged in now. If I go to edit profile, you see I'm allowed to go there because I'm a member and I have logged in. But let's copy the URL, let's log out and try again. Okay, now I'm here you see I'm a guest and I'm trying to edit my profile. Okay, and I'm redirected to the home page. Okay, that's very good. I'm redirected to the home page. What do we want now? We want navigation because our site doesn't have any navigation. You can see here at the menu we don't have anything. We want some navigation. So what should we do? We see another recommendation is CSN ACL navigation. Of course, we have a module called CSN Navigation which works without the ACL, but I think once we have installed CSN Authorization module, that it's better to use CSN ACL Navigation, because if you don't have access to some element, it will not be shown in the navigation. Okay, so how to install it? Again, via Composer. I have set the minimum stability in my Composer JSON file, and I just need to run this. I will copy it and I will paste it here with Shift and Insert. Okay, perfect. Now let's see what else. Go to your application configuration and config.php and add CSN ACL navigation. Okay, once again I'm heading to my application config.php and I will add the CSN ACL navigation. Oops, that needs to be in quotation marks. CSN ACL navigation. I'm going to save this. And let's see what else. Configuration. Okay, copy the sample navigation configuration. Let's do that. Now we go into the ACL navigation module and sample navigation configuration. Okay. We need to remove. Oops, sorry. We need to remove the dist extension. and now we can edit it and see what's up, what's here. Okay, we have some sample navigation defined for us. You see, it's usually a label, a route, a resource, and a privilege. The resource, as in ACL, the resource is a controller and the privilege is an action. Okay. Is there anything more? I can copy the ACL file again, but I have already copied it, so I don't need to do that. Let's see what else. We recommend using the same names for the resources and privileges of the pages as for the controllers and actions. This is done to keep the navigation and authorization in sync. Okay, so now what to do? How to show the navigation. That is actually, here we have an explanation of how to define the navigation in our navigation configuration file. But we already have a navigation sample navigation defined, so now I just want to show it so that I can see, because now if I refresh the page there is nothing. I don't see anything. So what to do now? I need to copy and paste this one here somewhere in my layout. So now I'm using the Zend skeleton application layout. So I just need to navigate back to module application. Here we have the module application that comes with the Zend skeleton application, and here we have view, layout, and layout PHTML. I open it and I find where the navigation is. Now, before I show you the navigation, I'm going to do some other things for our navigation to work better. I'm going in our root directory of the application, tutorial application, opening composer JSON file, and here I'm going to require the latest development version of Zend Framework. The minimum stability is set to def. I save this and I will run composer update. It's going to take a while. Okay, it's ready, and we shall continue with the navigation. So now we go to the module application view layout. We're going to use the layout from the skeleton application. We edit it, and here we find these lines, line 40 to 42, and we replace them with our navigation. Now let's run again, and here we can see we're using the 2.3 development version of Zend Framework. Now here is our menu: home, login, user, registration. Now the way it appears here is because of the CSS, because of the layout that is described in the Zend Framework 2 skeleton application. When we're using it in our own layout, we can stylize it so that it is shown better. But here we can still try to do something. The skeleton application is using bootstrap as a CSS library, so you can try and set the UL class to let me zoom it to see better what I'm doing. I'm setting the UL class to nav. And let's check out if this works. I'm saving and I'm refreshing the page. Okay, a little bit better, but still not what I wanted. Nav, what was it? Navbar nav. So nav, navbar nav. Saving it, and now that's what I wanted to see. Now we have a home, login, user, registration. Now that's more pretty. Okay, login. Here's our login. We see that the layout has changed because of those updates I made. You can go to user, welcome guest, registration, and you see here we get to see only the things in the menu which we have access to. So now if I log in and let's log in with my credentials, and now you see that I get some more additional stuff like a logout button and so on here in the menu. This is all described here in the tutorial application config autoload navigation. Let's examine it. Let's see here, for example, we have login, we have user, we have registration, but we have edit profile. And what's different is that in the ACL, the other configuration file, the access control list, we have defined that the edit profile action is actually allowed only for members. So the navigation knows that. The navigation actually communicates with the authorization module and checks if the user has access to this resource and the privilege. So when we log out, we don't happen to see those buttons anymore. So that's the navigation. Now it's time to look at the last bit of the puzzle today. It is the CSN CMS module. Here it is in the recommends of the navigation module. Of course, it's another great module for a simple CMS system. It actually lets you add articles. It lets you add comments to those articles. It can of course be used as a blogging system, or it can even be extended so that it can be used for social network and so on and so on. So let's see how to install it. First, we need to actually install it via Composer with the required command. So Shift and Insert. We're going to install it, and while we are waiting, I will tell you that we have to add the module to the config file immediately after that. So we're just going to switch the order of the steps here in the README. Don't worry, this will be updated right after I make this video, so that you can install it with no problems. So here it is installed. So now I'm going to add it to the module configuration, to the application configuration, I'm sorry. Here we go. CSN CMS. Save it and exit. And now let's look at the other steps. We should run the Doctrine 2 again to update the schema. So I'm going to navigate to vendor and bin folder, and I'm going to run the Doctrine 2. Now it tells me that I have to force the update, and that's what I'm going to do. That is explained in the README right here. So we are updating the schema, and now we can actually go back to localhost, phpMyAdmin, and see that schema is actually updated. We have now lots of new tables, categories, comments, articles, and so on. So now, what else do we need to do? We need to import sample data located the sample data SQL file. Okay, let's go here, vendor, coolcsn, CSN CMS this time, data, sample data SQL. Okay, I need to import this file. So I'm again going to phpMyAdmin, import. I'm going to browse, and this time I'm going to select CSN CMS, data, and sample data. And I'm going to go, and what it has done is actually add some resources, sample resources. The resource O, a public resource, a private resource, and a admin resource. Those are again ACL stuff for the articles. So each article has a resource. We can tell if this article can be seen by everyone, or whether it should be a public, a private resource. If it is a private resource, it means that only members will be able to see the article. So if you're not logged in the site, you will not be able to see this article. And admin resource means that only the admin can see this article. So of course those are ones that you can change, and I will show you just in a moment where the mapping really happens. So let's take a look what else we need to do. CSN requires setting a connection for Doctrine. We have already done that, and now what we need to do is go to CSN CMS. Actually, I'm going to type this CSN CMS. Hello there, this page does nothing for the moment, but in the near future it will represent the front page for our CMS. Right now we don't have a front page here for articles, so in the front page we should be able to see, let's say, well, the top 3 articles, for example, with a picture and some intro text and a brief explanation of the article. But we haven't implemented it yet. So we will go to the article controller, and we are redirected. Why does this happen? We can check that pretty quickly. Let's just see if there's any more steps. No, there are no more steps. So I will go and check the ACL. Okay, here it is, the ACL. Let's look for the okay, here is the ACL. Look at the ACL. This is the ACL we got from either the authorization module or the navigation, the ACL navigation module. In the future, this ACL distribution file will be located only in the authorization module, so you don't have to worry about it. Here we can see that the article controller here, it is actually not indented properly, but don't worry. Here the article controller actually requires you to be an admin to add articles, and this is right, of course, but we are not admins. So what are we gonna do? We can either change the ACL so that the members can write articles, or what else we can do is that we can actually change our user to be an admin, and for this we need to go into phpMyAdmin and change a value. So for now I'm going to change the access control list, and I'm going to allow members to access the article controller. So I'm going back here, and in our application I'll be trying to access CSN CMS article controller. Let's see what happens. Redirected again. Did I save that? Oh, I'm not logged in. I'm not logged in. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I need to be logged in to access it. So I'm just going to log in again with my credentials, and I'm going to again to the CSN CMS module and the article controller. So here is the list of my articles, and I don't have any articles, so I want to create a new article. I'm going to add a new article. Okay, here's again fancy stuff going on with the CSS. It seems that the latest skeleton application from Zend is actually not working properly with the CSS bootstrap CSS, but here I can choose a language, I can choose a resource, I can choose a title for my article. Here is the article title. We have a slug. What is a slug? A slug is article title. So basically it is the URL to the article. So when we want to access this article, we in the near future will be able to write, let's say, if it is in English, this article, every article can have translations, of course. If it is in English, we type just en article title, and we will be able to access that article. But for the moment, that is not implemented yet. Okay, so this is the slug actually. The intro text. Here we can actually input HTML, so we can input some images and some fancy stuff and so on and so on for the article. This will be something like a brief resume of the article, and here we will have the full text. And I will say again that we can actually write HTML code down here. So we can choose a category. We don't have any categories yet, and we can choose whether to allow comments for this article or not. And we can actually add this article. So we have our article here. We can set different translations for this article. We can add comments for the article. We can view the article, and we can edit it or delete it. In the moment I'm going to delete this article because we're not going to need it anymore. So to sum up, in very simple steps, we have built a completely functional web application with the ability for users to log in, to authorize their access to different controllers and actions. We have even built our own navigation. We have built our CMS system where we can add articles, we can edit them, we can add translations, comments, categories for the articles, and so on and so on. We can even add the links to the articles here in the navigation. This is again very easy, and we will show you how to do this in future tutorials. So stay tuned, guys. In the next days we are going to release a skeleton application with pre-installed CSN modules, so that we can even skip the steps we did today and install an application with all those modules even faster. In the meantime, you can check all the cool stuff at github.com/coolcsn, where you can check all the latest modules. We continue to improve them and develop new modules, so we will appreciate any feedback you give us. Thank you, guys.